I saved all my life for retirement, but cancer came first. I used to imagine retirement like a long, slow sunrise. A time when the alarm clock finally goes silent. When coffee doesn't have to be gulped in a rush. When the world gets quiet enough for you to hear your own heart again. I spent decades chasing that dream, clipping coupons, skipping vacations, putting off the some days because I believed the best was waiting for me at the end. Every raise, every sacrifice, every choice was made with one destination in mind: freedom. And I thought I was doing everything right. I thought if I just stayed the course, kept saving, kept pushing through the 9-to-5 grind, I'd finally get my reward. And then cancer showed up. It didn't knock. It didn't send a warning. It came into my life like a thief in the night, taking things I hadn't realized were so fragile: my health, my certainty, my calendar. The day the doctor said the word tumor, I didn't cry right away. I just sat there, stunned, as if someone had suddenly turned all the lights off in the life I'd built so carefully. I remember thinking, but I'm not done yet. I haven't even started the part one was working for. It was like spending your whole life painting a picture and having it torn in half. Before you got to sign your name, I wasn't angry at first. I was sad, deeply, quietly sad, because I realized how much of my life I had stored away in boxes labeled later. I had closets full of untouched dreams. I had lists of places I wanted to go, books I wanted to read, mornings I wanted to wake up slowly, all neatly folded for a future that was suddenly uncertain. But here's the thing: cancer didn't just take, it revealed. It held a mirror up to everything I believed about time, about purpose, about what really matters. And strangely, through all the fear and exhaustion and hard days, it began to teach me what retirement was supposed to be all along. Not an escape, not a reward, but a way of living with meaning, a way of being present, a chance to love harder, speak gentler, and find joy in the now. This isn't a story about loss. It's a story about waking up. Because the truth is, I didn't lose my retirement. I found something far more powerful. And I want to tell you how. I always thought of retirement as a kind of reward ceremony. You put in the years, you pay your dues, you show up, even on the days you didn't want to. And then, at the end, life hands you a medal, a pension, a few decades of peace. A chapter where the clock slows down and the story finally becomes yours. So I planned. Not perfectly, but carefully. I lived within my means, skipped luxuries, said no to things I secretly wanted, because I believed saying no now would mean saying yes later. While others booked vacations to Europe, I tucked money into my 401k. While my friends bought boats or cabins, I drove the same car for 12 years. There was always a voice inside me saying, just hold on. Just wait, it's coming. And oh, the plans I had. I wanted to wake up without an alarm for once. Sit on the porch with a second cup of coffee. Take long walks with no destination. I imagined joining a painting class, volunteering at the library, maybe visiting places I'd only ever read about, the Grand Canyon, a little seaside town in Italy, maybe even Japan during cherry blossom season. Not extravagant things, just meaningful ones. But mostly, I just wanted time. Time with my wife. Time with my grandkids. Time to be instead of do. I thought if I worked hard enough, saved long enough, waited patiently enough, I'd earn that time. I didn't realize how naive that thinking was. Not until the day the phone rang and the doctor asked if I could come in, not for a routine checkup, but to discuss some results. Not until the moment life, without warning, pulled the rug out from under the future I had spent a lifetime building. It's strange, the way the world keeps turning when yours comes to a stop. I remember driving to the clinic that morning like it was any other Tuesday. I remember the smell of the parking lot, fresh tar and burnt coffee. I remember the way the nurse smiled at me. How could she be smiling when something felt so off inside me? Then the doctor walked in. She wasn't smiling. She sat down slowly, and I knew before she even opened the folder. I could feel it in the way her eyes softened, in the quiet gravity of her voice. We found something. Those 3 words splintered the timeline of my life into before and after. It was cancer. Advanced. Aggressive. I remember sitting there, listening to words like treatment options, biopsy, prognosis, and feeling like none of it was real. I was too healthy. I had things to do. I had saved. I had waited. I had been so good at being responsible. And now, I was being handed a future that no longer followed the plan. I walked out of that building with a folder full of pamphlets and a heart full of fear. I sat in my car for what felt like hours, gripping the steering wheel, not ready to drive, not ready to face the life that had just been rerouted without my consent. I thought about my wife, about the trip we were going to take next spring, about the hiking boots I had just ordered online. I thought about my grandkids, the ones I was finally going to spend real time with, now that I wasn't chained to a desk. And most of all, I thought, how do I tell them? How do you tell the people who love you that you might not be around for all the moments you promised? It wasn't just a diagnosis. It was a thunderclap of realization. That time isn't something we can hoard. It's not a currency we get to save indefinitely. It's a gift that can expire without warning. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't in control. At first, I thought cancer had come just to take. And it did take. More than I was ready to give. It took my certainty, my strength, my hair, my appetite, my idea of the future. It took my plans and scattered them like leaves in the wind. I missed holidays. I missed birthdays. I missed walks I wanted to take, dinners I wanted to cook, memories I thought I still had time to make. It took my pride too. Sitting in a chair while someone inserted N4 into your arm week after week has a way of humbling you. Seeing your loved ones trying to be strong for you when you can see the worry in their eyes, it breaks something in you and, strangely, also makes something new. But here's the unexpected part. Cancer gave me something. It gave me truth. Raw, unfiltered truth about how I'd been living. I saw with painful clarity how often I had traded moments for money, memories for meetings, and love for later. I saw how many days I had rushed through, how many sunrises I had missed because I was too tired or too busy or too distracted. Saw how many conversations I hadn't started, how many people I hadn't really listened to, how many times I said, maybe someday, to the people I loved most. Cancer didn't just strip my body. It stripped my illusions, and in the ruins of everything I thought my life was supposed to be, something unexpected bloomed. Presence. When you're not sure how many mornings you have left, every one of them becomes sacred. A slice of toast, a phone call, a breeze, a laugh, a hug. You stop living for someday. You start living now. It wasn't easy. I don't want to romanticize it. There were days I couldn't move, nights I cried quietly so my wife wouldn't hear. But there were also moments of breathtaking clarity, where I saw the world not through the lens of what I was missing, but through the grace of what I still had. Cancer showed me how to retire, not from work, but from postponing life. It taught me that retirement isn't about an age. It's about a way of being, and I want to spend the rest of my time, however long or short that is, living that truth, and helping others see it before they get the same wake-up call I did. For most of my life, I thought retirement was a destination, a number on a calendar, an age stamped on paperwork. I thought it was something you had to qualify for, something you earned with years of sweat and sacrifice. A golden ticket you finally get after you've paid your dues. But cancer showed me the cracks in that thinking. Because if retirement is only something that happens when you hit a certain age, then what happens when your health runs out before the calendar says it's your turn? What happens when life decides to interrupt the script? What I've come to understand, deeply, urgently, is that retirement isn't a place you arrive at. It's a mindset, a choice, a decision to live your days with intention, not obligation. And the truth is, you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for a bank account to hit a certain number. You don't have to wait for your last child to graduate or for your mortgage to be paid off or for the company to throw you a party with sheet cake and a plaque. You don't have to wait for life to hand you permission. You can start now. Retirement, as I've come to see it, is simply this: living in a way where you're not postponing your joy, where you're not constantly saving your best self for a future version of your life, where you're not putting off the walk, the call, the hug, the painting, the laughter, for some vague idea of later. You want to know what real retirement looks like? It looks like turning off your phone when your grandkid wants to show you their drawing. It looks like saying yes to the picnic, even if the grass stains your pants. It looks like making pancakes on a Wednesday just because. It looks like telling someone you love them and meaning it, even if your voice shakes. It looks like being where your feet are right now. Yes, it's still wise to save. Yes, it's important to be responsible. I'm not saying throw away all your plans, but I am saying don't make the mistake I did. Don't store all your living in the attic of someday, because someday is fragile. Someday isn't promised. When you've looked death in the eye, you stop caring so much about what other people think and start caring more about how fully you're showing up for your own life. You don't need a plane ticket to Italy or a 5-bedroom beach house to retire. You just need a moment, this moment, and the courage to live it like it's worth something. Because it is. People ask me sometimes if I feel cheated. They say, "You worked your whole life for retirement. Don't you feel robbed?" And I get it. From the outside, it looks like I built this whole future, and then it slipped through my fingers. But here's the truth. I don't feel cheated. I feel awakened. I spent so many years looking forward that I forgot how to look around. I was chasing this idea of the perfect retirement. A quiet house, warm sun, maybe a few extra dollars to feel secure. But cancer tore all that up. It handed me something different. Something harder, yes, but also more real. It forced me to ask better questions. It asked me, what are you really waiting for? Who do you still need to forgive? When was the last time you danced? Have you told the people you love that you love them? Truly, vulnerably? It taught me that life isn't about control. It's about surrender. And not the passive kind. Not the giving up kind. I'm talking about the surrender that comes when you finally realize how little time we really have. And how precious that time becomes when you stop pretending otherwise. It's funny. I thought retirement was supposed to be the best part of my life. The reward. But what I've found through the pain, through the diagnosis, through the sleepless nights and the quiet mornings, is that the best part of my life is whatever part one chooses to be fully awake in, even now. Especially now. So no, I didn't lose my retirement. I found something better. I found presence. I found grace. I found what it means to live now, not in the shadows of what might happen, but in the light of what is happening. And I hope, wherever you are, whatever age you are, you hear me when I say this. Don't wait. Don't wait until a doctor tells you your days are numbered to start counting them yourself. Don't wait for a crisis to remind you that life is already happening. Retirement isn't a finish line. It's just a chance, one of many, to start again, to live fully, to love wildly, and to hold nothing back. Take it. Start today. And if you're still saving for something, let it be for moments you'll never regret living.